Hi, welcome to another issue of the Shipper Show. I'm here with Chris Lynch. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about how you convince large organizations that have limited trust in their IT or technical teams that believing in their ability to execute is a thing, and how you get some quick wins. It's often hard. I think you just talked about this when you're building the Death Star. It's hard to figure out some quick wins right down at the detailed level. And you had some thoughts on why that's important.
Sure. I mean, a lot of times what I see is that people will set out to go after the very big problem first, as opposed to focusing on the things that are right in front of them. I say this a lot, that part of the disease of big change is focusing too much on the perfect result that we all envision at the end, and that's exactly what it is. It's a vision, it's where we're going, but along the way we're going to change a lot of how that's actually done. So generally what I have found to be incredibly successful in what is arguably the largest bureaucracy in the world is that we go out and we focus on one thing, and that's get shit done and prove that you can do a thing. Because if you can prove that, you will earn the fight and the right of something bigger and more important, which will eventually take you on the path of the big vision that you're going after.
And what are some of the strategies that you use to do that? Because I think what I've witnessed is that in engineering teams that have lost the trust of the organization, there's sometimes a tendency of the organization to overplan, over-optimize, look too far into the details, try and figure out everything that's working, rather than just letting the engineering team get some quick wins. And how do you break that sort of cycle of distrust?
Sure. Yeah, there's a couple things that are really important. One is that technical people need to be making technical decisions, flat out, across the board. Doesn't mean that they're the only people who are the ultimate decision makers, but they are a key part of the decision-making process. In the absence of that, we end up in a place where terrible things occur. So that's like one thing that is really important. But going down specifically to your question around earning trust, I'll just go back to the thing that I said before. It is about proving yourself. So engineering teams that have lost trust of the broader organization need to go down to a place where they're not exposing themselves to a catastrophic failure, but instead they're opening themselves up to smaller failures. So do things really rapidly, turn around, get results, do the thing, prove that you can actually start to deliver, prove that there's a cycle that you can start to actually produce a real thing from. And what happens is that will build the trust. Originally, when I started the team that I'm running now, we had nothing. We had no office. We hardly had any team. So we had to go into a place of which there is very low trust for technical people, and very few of us. And we just decided, you know what, we're going to do a set of small projects. We picked 3 things that we were working on, and we very quickly were trying to turn around results. 2 out of 3 of those ended up hitting and being great results, bigger than we could have ever expected, and that gave us the ability to grow, but then also gain our independence to try out new and different things.
And how did you pick those 3 things? What was the sort of decision-making criteria for those 3 things?
So we have about 3 different things. Now these are going to vary by organization, but for us there's a couple things that are really important. So when I look at the portfolio, I like to think of it that we're almost like a venture capitalist, right? We're investing the one incredibly limited resource that we have, which isn't necessarily money, it's our people. Right. Into something. So we have to believe that that is going to return a result. And it's not just going to return degrees of a result, it's going to return an order of magnitude impact. Mm-hmm. So if we were to apply ourselves at this thing and we were to do it within a time period that feels short enough that it's going to be relevant for the business, so we haven't gone too far, right. That a failure is going to be sort of something we can't recover from, do we feel like we can have an order of magnitude impact? Do we feel that we have the right buy-in to do it? I actually think that a lot of teams miss this. Going off on something where you don't have the right organizational buy-in is actually pretty much a pathway to doom. You have to have somebody who's going to back you up throughout the broader organization. So the right level of organizational buy-in to give you the ability to go and prove a thing. And then lastly, do we have the right skills on the team available right now? This is something that a lot of people miss as well, right? Like we'll say, well, if we could just get this person, or maybe we don't have enough of the people that we need, but we're going to try to learn. Maybe that's not the right thing to go after, right? So do the thing that you can do with the team you have. Do it within a period of time that's actually going to be big enough that will let you prove a result, but it's also not too big that it's catastrophic if you fail.
Right.
And then make sure you have organizational buy-in.
So we have achievable, something that's achievable. We have buy-in, and then team skills. I guess you could say team skills with capabilities, and then you'd have an ABC.
Yeah.
Achievability, buy-in, and capability. There you go.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good.
I'm going to market that. Yes. I'm going to go with that from now on. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. That's been a great insight into how you've managed to convince teams to do massive change by achieving small steps. Thanks very much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Cool.